Guys, welcome into another episode of World War III. I just saw this thing come up right now. Elon Musk buying a 9.2% stake in Twitter, making him the largest shareholder as he questions the policy on speech. That is from the New York Times. So Elon Musk trying to influence Twitter into becoming more of a First Amendment based platform, I think is good for everyone. This is definitely the right move by Elon. You buy Twitter, or at least you buy enough influence within Twitter so you can make Twitter follow the First Amendment rather than investing a bunch of money into a new social media platform where you'll get mainly just right-wing support. Once again, guys, the major issue with a new social media platform that preaches being pro-First Amendment is the lack of motivation. You will have liberals leaving Twitter and going to that new platform. What would happen if Elon Musk just created a new platform? You'd get a bunch of right-wing people on it, and the liberals would stay on Twitter because there's no incentive for them to leave Twitter. So Elon Musk is trying to buy up enough Twitter to have influence over the platform. He is the largest shareholder just like that, just because he wants to be, because he's that rich. It's pretty unbelievable. And, hopefully that will give him influence, and we're just trying to keep free speech alive and well on social media. We understand right now Twitter does not believe in the First Amendment. They hide behind the crutch of it being a private company, which it is. But I think it's very important for people to, that's why I'm always trying to be transparent about it. I'm not trying to beat around the bush. I say, YouTube does not believe in the First Amendment. The platforms don't. Now, maybe the people behind the scenes believe in the First Amendment, but the way they police the platforms, I try and be upfront. I try and tell everyone. I just go out and say it. I say, listen, they just don't believe in the First Amendment on Twitter, on YouTube. They pick and choose who they want to ban, what story they want to ban, and how to influence the general public. So Elon Musk, this just came out this morning, he is buying a large stake in Twitter. And if he can buy enough of it, if he buys Twitter, he can just enact the First Amendment and make it a policy, and then just keep Twitter as the main platform for discussing social, politics, things like that. Or at that point, when you've already got First Amendment rights on Twitter, you can go ahead and create maybe a better version of Twitter to where if everyone has the First Amendment, then there's going to be no issues with liberals. Because right now, liberals, just if you create a new platform, there's no reason for them to leave Twitter. There's no reason. They're not the ones getting banned. They're not the ones getting silenced. So we would be separated at that point, even by political platforms. It's like if you're on Twitter, you're left leaning. If you're on Elon Musk's platform, you're right leaning. We don't want any of that. I think this is a good job by Elon Musk. We've also got the story of the war crimes potentially being committed by the Russians as they pulled their armies back. It unveiled some war crimes. It looks like we've got world leaders calling for tougher sanctions against Russia as Ukrainian officials push for war crime investigations. Ukrainian officials said they asked the International Criminal Court to visit mass graves and investigate Russian possible war crimes. When they withdrew, there were apparently mass graves and a lot of Ukrainian citizens were slaughtered. Now, it's very tough to pencil out what is true and what is just Western propaganda. But overall, this is an amazing situation for America to be in. Obviously, the war crimes are terrible, things like that. But this just gives us more leverage to sanction Putin as hopefully we take, baby steps closer to getting Putin and this Russian government out of office. I think the perfect scenario right now would be getting Putin out, installing some sort of Russian government, and then getting out of Europe and enacting my hands-off policy where we leave Europe and focus on China. But the point of it is get Russia as weak as possible, use all the propaganda, make it as horrible as possible to where we can really just weaken the Russian army overall and make them not a big threat in Europe. So this is overall, these war crimes, it's terrible if they're real. You feel really bad for the Ukrainian people, but this just gives America and NATO more political leverage to use against Russia when we potentially sanction them. We can say, listen, these are horrible war crimes. We're doing this because we want, it's terrible. You guys can't be doing this. We have to put these massive sanctions on your army and maybe even install a puppet government into Russia in the future. And then we enact our hands-off policy once Russia gets weak enough. We pull out of Europe, we pull out of NATO, and we make single alliances with the major powers of Western Europe. And they've still got the European Union going strong there. That is the ideal scenario for us right now. So overall, these war crimes that potentially have been committed by Russia will be used as political leverage for NATO, which is a good thing. So guys, just wanted to touch on that really quickly. Now I want to talk about something maybe a little bit more sinister. I saw this Forbes article and it really got me thinking. I'm just going to read off a little of this. Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better. Sounds like the opening of some sort of a communist government propaganda system there. You're a cog, right? So this is a very scary thing. It says, welcome to 2030, welcome to my city, or should I say our city, right? That's the thing with communists. Everything's us, nobody owns anything. Nobody's more powerful than the government. That's why they hate Elon Musk. A lot of these people that are socialist or communist, like when it comes to socialism or communism, socialism is a watered down version of communism, right? And you take a look at someone like Elon Musk, people that believe in communism hate people like Elon Musk, not only because he's rich, but because with how rich he is, he's almost more powerful than the government. And the idea of socialism and to a wider degree communism is that you're a cog in a system. And it's a terrible way to live, but it's just like, if everyone does their own little thing, makes the same amount of money, everyone will be happy. That's the idea behind it. And someone like Elon Musk, it's not just about the fact that he's ridiculously rich. It's the idea that because he's ridiculously rich, he's also ridiculously powerful. And as I continue reading this, it says, welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city, or should I say our city. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a home. I don't own any applications or any clothes. And that right there, that little paragraph, it got me thinking about the current gas prices in the world. And it is really sad because I'm sure there are not a large group, but a small amount of alt-left people that probably love these gas prices, that want people to stop driving cars, take the bus, be less powerful. So they look at these gas prices going up and up and down. They probably want it to be $20 per gallon at this point because they want people to have less power, let the government own you. And it's just this weird push to really change the narrative. And we see something here. I believe this is Business Insider. Americans should budget an extra $5,000 this year to cover rising prices, Bloomberg economists estimate. So the burden falls on the citizens. We've got to be the ones to budget. We've got to be the ones to pay $50, $60, $70 sometimes dollars to fill up our gas tanks. It's the idea to shift the blame from the government onto the citizens. The citizens must budget more money. The citizens must now get used to spending $60 on gas. The citizens need to budget better, and if you don't budget better, you're just not going to drive. And you know what? It's probably a good thing because you're not putting off CO2 emissions then. They don't even want people to drive at this point. They want people to be cogs to a system. When you are in a communist government, this is a conveyor belt, and you're doing one minute little task, and you're getting paid $30,000 per year, and the buddy next to you is getting paid $30,000 a year, and all in your head is, I just have to complete this little thing to keep the government running properly. That's what they want you to think, And some of these, that's why I am so against communism. Now listen, if I was the leader, like, I think China and the Chinese leaders benefit greatly off of communism with how big their population is, being able to control those people. It's amazing. It's crazy. But as a citizen, I would never want to live under something like that. To where you're basically a robot. Communism, it takes away the human element. You know, whether you want to be a multi-millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, we all have ambition. We all want the ability to afford new things, whether we even want them or not. You know, do you want an extra $4,000, even if it's just to donate to your favorite charity to make yourself feel better? Yes, we all want more money. That's just human nature. We're not robots who say, listen, if every single person makes $30,000 a year, we're all going to be really happy and we're all going to do our little thing. That logistically doesn't make sense, and it is a horrible, miserable way to live your life, and it completely destroys innovation. Completely destroys innovation. If you go back to the space race, Russia versus the United States back in the 60s, and they were like, oh, Russia got to space first, they orbited the moon or whatever. It's crazy because Russia, known as totally communist at the time, employed capitalist ideology to get their scientists to work harder. They incentivized it. They gave them more money. They said, you need to work more hours. We're going to give you more money. That's capitalism. So even in something like the space race, where you've got two countries battling and the United States got to the moon, whatever, we can say it's a conspiracy, but the United States landed on it first. Some people say Russia won, some people say America won, whatever. Most people do say America won, but even Russia, Mr. Communist at the time, used capitalist ideology because they needed to keep up with the Americans. And listen, if you're a doctor and they say, listen, we're going to pay you extra money to work more, you're probably going to be more incentivized to work more if they pay you extra money, if they give you more benefits. That's just human nature. That's just the reality of it. So when I see like these articles where it's just like, I own nothing, I want nothing, I'm so happy, I'm not even sure 5% of the population would ideally want that way of life. Yeah, this was from 2016. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense to us in this city. Everything you considered a product is now a service. And and what you give up for having everything become a service, which quote unquote improves your way of life, you give up your freedom, right? like that is just not worth it. Like the idea that everything becomes free. Oh, what's the catch? You give up your complete freedom and you only are allowed to make a certain amount of money. And guys, it is not a good way of life. And it just got me thinking with this whole crisis with gasoline and these people. It is a small amount of people, but there are people out there that love that gas is this high. It's more expensive. Encourage people to, you know, drive cars less, take the bus, be less powerful in the world. That's why they hate Elon Musk. Listen, and I understand, you know, Elon Musk making a crazy amount of money compared to so many people that are living in poverty. It's terrible. But I also think people are kind of underestimating. It's not just about Elon Musk making, you know, billions and billions and billions of dollars. It's about the power that comes with it. And they hate that Elon Musk has that power. It's not just about the money, but it's also about the power. And that's what people don't realize. They want the government to be massive. They want the government to have full control over you. That's why you take a look at the situation with the pandemic. Trust the government. Do whatever they say. If you don't do it, you're a lunatic and you want people to die. That was the narrative, right? And there's no room for critical thinking among the citizens' part. The government is just going to push restrictions on you. And if you don't accept those restrictions, you are seen as someone that is endangering other people's lives. There's no thinking about it. It's do what they say or you're a terrible person. That's what it is, guys, and it's a scary thought. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.